Welcome to an out of the box video. This is going to be a little bit different than my usual video. It's kind of a preview, unboxing, playthrough, first impressions all tied into one. And today I am going to be having a look at Space Kraken, a science fiction dungeon crawler. This is recently finished on Kickstarter. I was lucky enough to that Markus Geiger, the designer creator, sent me a prototype. So this is a preview prototype, so the final version will be potentially different, but I think you get a general idea of how it all fits together. Hence ticking a little box that says paid promotion, because this got sent all the way across the world. Got stuck in postal land and didn't arrive till after the Kickstarter had finished. Fortunately, I'd already pledged because I like the look of it anyway. But today I thought I would show you how far I've been getting on. So it's an interesting project, this one. It's obviously a game, a science fiction game. It's a bit of a sandbox. It's a bit of a RPG. It's a little bit like Read Your Own Adventure. It's got charts and things you look up. You go to areas and it's pretty much got like a procedurally generated process that you roll dice to generate the environment. Then you engage with that environment. If you then go to different areas, you roll dice to generate enemies. It's got interesting things that fold out. I spent about, I suppose, half an hour reading through the rules. I put these sticky notes in here. That was one of the suggestions from the errata when it first arrived, and I think they're going to have these in the final version. So like I say, this is only a prototype. Spent about half an hour flicking through the rules about your ship, crew, space combat, but then I found it was fairly obvious that it was going to be one of those games where you read and play along and work out the rules as you go through it, so you can actually work through some examples. One of the things that's quite unique in this is it has a thing called a cryptid game maker, CGM, and what that does is it determines the storyline, the narrative, and you generate, you probably can't see because of the resolution, but there's letters on each level of these tables that then generate other letter combinations that then drive a narrative. And that also goes with maps. So when you go exploring, it's full of lots of little maps, which are then basically presented, they start off being random because you generate a planet as you arrive, and then you play through it. And then if you go to the next planet, you generate all the attributes of that planet, and I'll go through that in a minute. And what it does give you is quite a lot of variety, lots of different choices, and the choices that you make can impact the rest of the game. So the first thing you needed to do with this game was build a crew, and this is an A4 booklet, and it basically folds out to make your not like a board, but it makes your the things that you need to play with. So you start with a spaceship. This one has got, I think, a choice of 3. I'm playing the most basic. You get some credits. You can buy, so you start with 30 credits, and I bought a medi bay, some light shields, and I also bought a teleporter, I do believe. Yeah, teleporter. You need a crew. You start with 3 crew, and the crew you cut out, crew members, and these are pre-made ones that I'm using. So I'm using 2 from 2 different sheets, so there's lots of choices. I'm picking these 3. When you pick your crew members, you then annotate their skills, items, and abilities onto these little foldouts, and so then you can refer to them as you go through your adventure. So I've picked a ranger, a medic, and a tank, I do believe. Yeah, tank. With a rifle, bit of ammo. Your characters also have a shield rating, if they've got a personal shield, hit points, which is twice your strength and oxygen level. So if you're exploring an environment that has no oxygen, every move requires you to spend it on oxygen, so that gives you an implicit timer for any kind of exploration. You can change the attributes, and there's a formula for doing that. There's pretty much formulas for everything, but it does walk you through it. The other thing we need is our storyline. So if we go to the front, fold that out, and you fold things out as you make your way through. Okay, so this is, on this side, this is the line tracker. So the line tracker determines your narrative. And so you probably can't see it, but they're penciled in. You initially start with 4 lines, and each turn you go through and you use these to generate either an event. So you read a piece of text from an event that drives the narrative, or it'll generate some other quadrant in one of the tables, and so you're bouncing around. So you really, you're not going to be able to predict where you're going. I think that's going to add to the replayability because you'll be going in different places at different times. This demo version starts with, if I go back to the very front, I think it's got 4. We pick one random out of each of these columns to seed the narrative, and so 4 times 4, 16 different combinations. Even in this, the limited version, there's so many different ways it can start, so that's exciting. When I started, I've actually landed on a planet. So the way that the game goes is, we go back to the rules section, there's like a gameplay phases. So we activate our lines on the main narrative, then we decide to do some ship construction if we've got credits we want to buy things. Then we've got almost a free action. And so this is kind of like the sandboxing. And so we can initiate space flight, land on a planet, or activate the next line on the CGM. Then we can do some shopping if we're at a shop place, ammo dealer, quest masters, so we can pick up quests as we go through. We reset our timers, so some of the quests that we might be given, and the whole thing folds out with different places to write notes and keep everything organized. So the book keeps it all together. Then there's a recovery phase, and then we go back to the narrative again and generate the next level of narrative. Where I left off, I had I'd done some space flight, so this is where we're going to start today. I did a space flight. There wasn't any enemies. I had no combat. I discovered a new planet, and so there is basically a planet. You turn to the planet construction page, creating a new, and you go through the set of location generators. So we generate the type of planet it is, whether it's a space station or on the surface, or I think there's about 4 different types of planet types: mining, core planet, in space. We roll a dice, so you need dice. So you'll need a d20 and a d6, and you'll need a pencil. I've lost mine, and I need that in a minute. I use a HB because it makes it easy to rub it out. And so, okay, so my planet had a difficulty 2. You roll for the outside atmosphere. This one had atmosphere. Inside atmosphere, this was another yes. That was really lucky, because if you don't have atmosphere in any of those areas, every time you take an action, you spend an oxygen, and that then limits what you can do. Your planet has a depth, so that's the number of dungeons. Again, this is a dungeon crawler, science fiction dungeon crawler that you can go down, and then there's a teleport depth. So in this case, I rolled a 2, so it means that if I've got a teleporter, which I have, you can teleport back to your ship from level 2, or if I return, I can teleport straight back to level 2, which isn't particularly useful because it's got 7 levels. So you then generate, I've generated how many? I've generated 5 levels. Don't know why I didn't generate 7 levels. Oh, yes, I have. I just can't see them because it's on the pencil. So I've done 1 level. I went down and I found an enemy, shot them, they did some damage, and I marked off my ammo. And where we are now, if I remember correctly, is we're at level 3. And so level 3 was a B. So what we do is we go to maps and we find it's a planet which is on the surface. It's a B, so we go to this one here, and you probably can't see it, but each of these little maps has a set of entry level, exit levels, go back higher level, so the exit down or exit back up, and certain things trigger. And so there's a very helpful key that allows you to look up things. So I can look at this one and see that anything that's black, that's their walls. The B's here are bulkheads, so I'd have to destroy those bulkheads, which require effort. In the middle here, I've got an E1. Because it's not in a box, so if you looked at a different one like this one here, the E's in a box, which means you have to actually engage with that box to trigger it. Anything that's not in a box will trigger if you go into that whole zone. So if you run into any mines, in this case it's a enemy 1, so it's going to be a level difficulty +1. But there's some interesting things in here. There's a Q, which I think is a quest master, which might give me a quest to offer jobs for mercenaries. There's an S, which is a shop. So that's an interesting area to go into. I could avoid everything. If I decide that I didn't want to go into I could just scoot around this side, go straight out and say, well, okay, I'm going to go to the exit, and then I would go to the next level and see what that generates. There's also bulkheads with enemies behind them. So if I'm looking to get more experience, because I can level up my characters, try and get more equipment, I might open the bulkheads one at a time and see who's there. So if we were in a planet without atmosphere, bulkheads, you roll for them, and every time you roll you lose oxygen. Because we're in a planet that has oxygen, you basically don't have to roll. You get a 12. You have to get rid of the bulkhead. You've got to roll 12 plus. All the rolls are all the kind of skill rolls are above. Well, the ones I've seen so far. So if I look at this character here, Sam, she's got a rifle. It's a ranged weapon. I'd have to roll a 4+ to hit. It does 3 damage, and it's got 5 ammo, and I haven't used any ammo because last time I played, she jammed it first round and then used her stave to do some melee combat. Okay, so anyway, back to here. We're at level B. I'm going to break that bulkhead. So I'm just going to flag that for this time, and I know there's an enemy in here. So I've got an enemy 1. So what we do, we go to the combat page and we fold that out, because that gives us a nice little hopeful, if I can find it, combat, enemy combat. No, it must be below. I'm still finding my way around. Here we go. So, and this is what I mean about it folds out as you need it. So the first thing we do is we spawn enemies. So we work out the location difficulty. So this planet location difficulty was 2. I rolled that previously. My enemy had a +1 on it. So that means it's a 3. And so that means in this location, I am going to spawn a level 3 enemy, and the planet has a race, so it greys. So I'm going to have a level 3 grey. So we go find greys and we flip over. So 2. There we go. So that's who I'm facing off with at the moment. I've lost my folder out. Where's that gone? Come on. Okay. So level 3 grey. He's got a claw, plasma, or a blaster. He's got good shields, pretty high hit points. We'll worry about that in a minute. Okay, so then we see whether we can react or not. So there's like an initial reaction to see whether they're surprised or not. And I have to roll 4+ a 1. So I don't get to see that. I don't get to activate a hero. So that means I think I lose initiative. We'll worry about that later. There's also potentially a secondary primary enemy. So there's, whenever you have an encounter with an enemy, there'll be one or more primary and then minions. So we determine whether there's a second primary enemy. We roll against the level number to prevent this. Okay, so we roll against the level number. So this is level number 3. So I've got to roll more than a 3 or more. A 1. Okay, so there's a secondary enemy, and then we determine the race. So 1 to 10, it'll be the same as the location. And we get a 6, so it's the same as the location. And I do believe it's 1 less. I'm just going to look that up because this is just the summary on this side. Let's have a little looky on here. So this is, it's got this feel of playing a big RPG. You look up what you need to know, but it kind of runs itself, which is nice. That's combat setting it up. Okay. Oh, I feel so. This is when I rolled before and I failed. You know, take a single hero. Okay, it means that it can't be attacked. So the first one, if I had successfully done that, my characters could have attacked the first character when he popped out. But since I missed that, I get to see what else is here. Okay, so secondary enemy, we roll up, blah, 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 blah. The secondary enemy always, if you're at the level 3, you roll a 3 to prevent this. I didn't. Determine its race. If you're level 3, yeah, I've done that. If you're level 6, yeah. Oh, I repeat level 2. Look, same as the first primary. That is the race. Guess it is, so it's another 3. Okay. Now determine which minions. I'll start on this page while I'm here. Generated, these are okay, so the minions are 1 grade lower than the primary. So these are level 3, they'll be level 2s. So we roll a d6, and I want a 2 to 4, 2 to 5. Get a 6. So that means I get 1 minion. If there are minions, determine their race by rolling the d20. And I get a 5, so it's the same as the primary. So that means it's going to be a 2. So I'll go find a 2. Okay, so this is looking messy. It's always fun if I die the first game. Okay, we'll skip back to this one. We rolled our minions, we've got our enemies. Now we roll for initiative, and that would cost us 1 oxygen if there was no atmosphere, but there is. And we do a d6 plus the weakest agility of all my heroes. So my hero's agility is 3, 2, 2, and so we get 3. I think I'm going to lose initiative. Compare this with the enemies. So their agility is 8, 8, 6. So I've lost anyway. So I lose initiative, and that's for this whole encounter. And so it's going to go enemies, then me, then enemies, then me, which is unfortunate. Okay, so I guess we'll go for it. So they will attack whoever they are in melee combat with first, and if not, I do believe it's random. Actually, I will look that up, because that's kind of important as well. Space combat, and that's what I'll give that a go next video. Okay, so enemies. Okay, combat loop. Done the generation, combat action, attack, unjam weapons jam on a 1. Critical miss if you hit with a 6, you do 1 extra damage. Choosing targets, blah 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 blah. Boost, shield and armor. Where's our thing on enemies? Take action. Determine the action. We roll a d6 to see what they're going to do. Enemy attack. All enemies will attack heroes which are in melee. If there's no such heroes, they will attack all the heroes who attack them with ranged weapons. Third priority, all other heroes follows. Within this group, you can choose which is attacked. Well, I have a tank. She took a bit of damage, so she is on 9 out of 12. But she's still stronger than anyone else, so she's going to be at the front, surprisingly enough. We might as well stay with this open. Okay, so my first Amiga level 3 grey, I roll what he's going to have an attack with. He gets a 4, which is a plasma blaster, which is a ranged weapon. He's got to roll 3+, and it does 5 fire damage. Okay, so he rolls a 6, so he does 5 fire damage. My tank has got armor of 1, so that's going to go down to 4. And I don't have any shields, so that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Ouch. Second grey is going to do 1. He can attack melee combat with his claws. It's going to take 2 melee attacks of 5+ for 4 damage. And so this is going to do bad things to my tank. So it's a miss and a miss, which is lucky. And the level 2 hitman is going to do, hopefully not a 4. 1 to 4 does a double attack, so there's 2 ranged attacks with a 5+ for 3 fire damage. And I guess we'll carry on. Tank's going to take it. That's a miss, and a 6 is a hit. At 5, that'll be 2 damage off there. So my tank is now down to 3 hit points. And that's them finished. Okay, so counterattack. We're going to fire our rifle. I don't know, rifle or melee? Rifle does 3 damage, melee does 2, so I guess we'll do 3 damage with our rifle. So, but what we can do, because we've got a range score of 2, we can spend that every round. So at the moment our ranged attack is 4+. If we spend 2 points, we can either subtract 1 from the chance to hit, so that'll be 3+, or I can add 1 to damage. So if I do hit, it would do 4 damage instead of 2. I'm going to use it to take off 1 off my chance to hit, so I need a 3 plus. And I'm gonna, should I kill off first? I know. I guess we'll go top down. Okay, I've got a 4, so I would hit anyway, so I did 3 damage. He's got armor of 2, so that's going to be 1 damage, and then it'll come off his shields. Okay, oh, that's going to take me 1 ammo. I'm going to fire my rifle with my medic. She gets a 2, so she's missed miserably. My tank also has a rifle, and we're going to use her range to make it 3 plus 1. Okay, so that's that gun jam. So her rifle jammed, so she can try and unjam it next turn, if she's still alive. Because we'd already determined initiative, it's now time for my Greeblies to have a go. And I think I'm gonna, maybe I'll pair them off, because otherwise we're all gonna die. So Amiga's gonna, I don't know what he's gonna do actually, let's see. He's going to, he's gonna use his claws. 2 melees at 5 plus. So a 6 will hit, and the second one is a 3, which will miss. So he does 4 damage to Sam. So that goes down to 8, 7, 6. I think we're going to be running away next turn. The next grey does a 4, which is a plasma rifle. So it's a 3 plus at the medic. Oh, that's a 6, so it hits. 5 damage. So that's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the grey number 2 is going to do a 4, which is a double attack with his ranged fire. 5 plus. So 3 misses and 5 hits. Does 3 fire damage. We'll take 1. We'll take 2. Time to read the rules on escaping. I do believe. I don't think this is going to end well. Okay, how do we escape? Combat loop, leveling up. Combat loop, generating, combat actions. Clearing levels, good luck with that. Quest escort. I think it would be in the combat generation, initiative, attack, cover, flank, reload, unjam, escape. If you want to escape from a combat, you roll against the 2 added together agility attributes of your fastest enemies. Okay, roll 2d6, add your slowest crew member's agility attributes to your result. So if you want to escape from combat with agility 5 enemy and 3 minions, you need to roll. Okay, if you fail, all crew members have wasted their turn. If you win, you leave the combat without any items or experiments drops and are placed on the map in a position where you were before entering combat. Oh, you can also sacrifice a crew member. Yeah, I don't think we'll do that yet. Okay, so the 2 fastest is agility is 8 and 8, so that's 16. And my 2 slowest is 2 and 2, which is 4. So I need to roll higher, 16 or more. I need 2 6s to escape. Okay. A 3 and a 1. I didn't escape. Okay. So, if you fail, all crew members have wasted their turns. If you win, okay, so they get to attack again. I didn't think I was going to die in this playthrough. My last battle was against one guy. He was easy. We killed him off, got his stuff. This is not the way I wanted it to turn out. Anyhow, Amiga Grey 3 is going to attack with his claws. 2 melee damage. 2 melee attacks, so 5 plus. So 5, that's 1 hit. Another 5, it's 2 hits, 8 damage. Okay, so Sam's dead. That's my ranger's dead. Second critter is 3, so he's going to fire his plasma rifle, which is a 3 plus. Oh, it gets a 2, he misses. Excellent. Lex. I can't even teleport, can I? Because I'm on level 3. My teleport only works level 2. Anyhow, Lex is, this guy's going to attack with his 2 double attack, 2 ranged attacks at 5 plus. A 3 is a miss, and a 1 is a miss. He should get a gun jam as well. But I don't think they do. Okay, so Sam's down. Jessica and Lex somehow survived. I don't fancy trying to roll another double 6. What else can we do? Reread the rules. You can roll against the 2 of your fastest enemies. If you decide to sacrifice, you can ignore his roll. That's not going to help either, because my fastest one was Sam, and Sam is already dead. Okay. I'll look at the rules and see what happens when you die. This is a matter of interest while we're here. Reload. Well, I think I've got no choice. I have got agility 2, which gives me 4. Against these guys that were obviously way overpowered, 16. I've got to roll a double 6. Oh, a 1 and a 2. Yes, thank you, dice. Okay. What else can we do? I don't think I can do anything else. Can't flank. Oh, I could flank. I could gain cover. Take cover, that gives me +1 armor, but then it's just a waiting game, isn't it? These guys aren't going to get bored. 5. Oh, he recovers 2 hit points. Good for that. Next one. 5. Also recovers 2 hit points. Oh, if full hit points, re-roll. Okay, so the first one would have done a re-roll. 5. 6. Recover shield energy. Okay, so at least that's this one's gets 1. 2 claw attack. 5 plus 4 is a miss. 6 is a hit. That's 4 damage. So that is Jessica. 0 hit points. Ironically, I've only got my tank. So what this guy's going to do? 2 double attack. 5 plus. Or 5 is a hit. 3 damage. Okay, so they're all. Well, I guess we're going to call that one. That didn't go anywhere close to plans. All 3 are dead. I'm going to fold these guys back. I will have a read of the rules of what happens when you die. I imagine that's ended my adventure. What I'm going to do next then is I'm going to start again. I'll probably pick a different crew, and then I'll do a couple of dungeons, get some more equipment, and the next video I will start with spaceflight, and I'll give you a bit of a walkthrough of spaceflight, and hopefully we'll get some space combat, and you'll see how that works. So yeah, so this has been a rather abrupt end to my first adventure in Space Kraken. Planet 1 was the death of me. I only got 3 levels in. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. So I think that this is really ambitious project. It's the book is just amazing. The volume of material is just huge, and like I say, the randomization, the way things work out. Yeah, this is very impressive, and yeah, so Space Kraken.